Hey, it's Bill from the Bill Simmons podcast. FIFA World Cup 26 fans, listen up. As the official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 26, Michelob Ultra is giving away $1 million worth of FIFA World Cup 26 tickets and prizes. Enter now at michelobultra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26. Michelob Ultra FIFA World Cup 26 superior access. No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus begins on December 1st, 2025. Ends on July 31st, 2026. Multiple entry periods. Visit www.michelobultra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26 for free entry deadlines, prizes, and details.
Mornings have a rhythm. You can hear it, feel it. And at Quaker, we fuel it. With 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber in every bowl, helping you turn that rhythm into your soundtrack for a great day. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
Let's go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tuned Into Tennis. My name is Miles David, and today's show features a chat with a current WTA star I believe you'll be intrigued to know more about. Think of someone who plays tennis with the poise of a scholar but the edge of an artist. That's Emma Navarro. Currently ranked at world number 11, she is quietly becoming another American success story in tennis and someone to watch throughout their career. In 2024, she truly emerged onto the scene, capturing her first career WTA title and notching big wins on big stages, landing her all the way into her very first Grand Slam semifinal at the US Open in New York. Her latest venture sees a partnership with Talenti, the brand known for creating some of the best gelato and sorbet you can find on the market. Similar to the brand known for its sleek packaging, but also delicious flavors, Emma Navarro is scooping her way through the WTA Tour and wants to bring fans along for the sweet ride. As a contributing writer for Sports Illustrated website Serve on SI, I had the pleasure of sitting with Emma in Charleston, South Carolina, as she teamed up with the good people at Talenti to showcase the new partnership. So whether you're already diving deep into the tennis or just trying to get to know some new faces and names on the tour, have a listen to my conversation with Emma Navarro. Hi, Emma. Miles from Serve on Sports Illustrated. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be in Charleston talking to you. Speaking of Charleston, you spent many weeks on the road in Europe the past couple of weeks. I'm sure there were some hot days like there were at Wimbledon. Now that you're back in the States, what are some ways that the heat is competing or differ from like Charleston heat or European heat? And if you have a preference, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, Europe can get hot, but it's not like Charleston heat. It's humid here. It's you go out and practice for a couple hours, and your whole outfit is drenched. So the Europeans like to make a big deal about the heat, but it doesn't compare to that southern heat here in the U.S. So I try to stay hydrated and just stay on top of my nutrition. And there's no better way to cool off after a long day of practice than with a good pint of gelato, Talenti specifically, and my favorite's the raspberry sorbetto. It's cools me down, and I love a sweet treat after a long day of practice. So that's the perfect thing for me at the end of the day.
Love that. Speaking of Talenti, what made you want to partner with them, and what are you most looking forward to out of that collaboration besides maybe the pints of gelato?
Ice cream and gelato are my favorite treat and some of my favorite foods. So this partnership is really exciting for me, and something I admire a lot about Talenti is just how intentional and specific they are about the ingredients they use, and they source a lot of stuff internationally, and I think it's really cool to that they implement a lot of different flavors from around the world, and they're just very intentional with their ingredients and their flavors and the different cultures they feature in their ice cream and sorbetto. So I think that's something that is really cool for me, and that's why I love this partnership.
Awesome. You mentioned a couple of keywords I wanted to pick up on: flavors and ingredients, which made me think about the strawberries and cream dynamic at Wimbledon. I don't know if you saw on the socials, it kind of went a little viral in the tennis world, Iga Swiatek with strawberries and pasta, which is kind of an odd pairing on the surface. I'm wondering if you have any odd pairings of food that you like and that may include the Talenti gelato or not. What is your sweet treat combo or any kind of odd combination that kind of would be off but is good to you?
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting down with the strawberries in my pasta. I think my Italian ancestors might be rolling over in their graves a little bit with that one. So, yeah, I won't be putting any fruit in my pasta anytime soon. But yeah, I definitely I have some interesting things in my diet. Something I do like to do is eat ground beef with Greek yogurt on top. It's kind of like a sour cream replacement, I guess, and sometimes I'll put some other things in there, but yeah, ground beef with Greek yogurt, it's kind of my go-to.
Is that before a match or after a match?
Definitely not before.
Okay.
No ground beef pre-match is certainly not. Yeah, I got to go with that afterwards.
Okay, another question for you. What is the hardest thing that your coach asks you to do in practice? If you kind of have this window after Wimbledon that you're practicing, kind of gearing up for the hard court season, what is the hardest thing your coach asks of you these days?
Um, huh. The hardest thing might be to wrap up practice. I think, yeah, when I get out on the court, I kind of have a tendency to get very specific and obsessed, and I kind of just go all in. So for me, it's the hardest thing to do, to kind of shut that part of the day off and just say, all right, I've put in the work that needs to be done today, and you know, I got to move on with my day, and we'll come back again tomorrow when I'm energized and fresh, and we'll revisit. So yeah, it's not always easy to kind of shut that part down.
Understand. When you're feeling energized or you want to get more energized, is there a current song on your iPhone or your device that's kind of like your song of the summer right now? I know that's kind of a hot debate, like in the internet, like where is our song of the summer? Do you have one? It doesn't have to be like right now. It could be anything, but what kind of gets you going and energetic before practice?
I got to look at my phone for this one
Okay.
because, well, I have two. I've been kind of into Nokia by Drake.
I was just listening to that. I promise.
Yeah.
It was in the Spotify songs of 2025 summer list.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait, so that counts. That's
Yes.
like yeah, that means it's a good song of the summer.
Are
And
you a
then
Spotify or Apple Music?
Spotify for sure.
Same,
Yeah,
same.
I'm not rocking with Apple Music. The other one that I like is "In Fact" by Melvito featuring Gabsy.
Okay.
I don't know Melvito or Gabsy. This is the only song I know, but it's a good song.
I don't know them either, but I'll be looking them up after
Yeah,
this
yeah, you gotta look
conversation.
them up. It's good.
Kind of going back to the tennis, what is the most fascinating thing about playing on center court at Wimbledon? I know you just got off the plane and are getting settled to the United States here, but you've had an opportunity to play at some really, really big venues, and a lot of people kind of look at center court as heralded. What's the most fascinating thing about being on that court? And then how would you compare it to the other courts you've been on, like Arthur Ashe and Rod Laver, stuff like that? Where do you kind of sit that, and how does it make you feel when you're out there?
Yeah, I played on center court for the first time last year, and I remember I hadn't ever watched really like the walkout onto center court before, and I just remember we're waiting in like the clubhouse area, and then the two guards are standing by the doors, and they open the doors, and there's no introduction, there's no music, there's no announcer, there's nothing. You just walk out, and it feels so quiet, even though when you walk out, you know, everyone cheers and stuff and you wave, but when they first open the doors, it's just kind of like silence. And that was very jarring to me when I first played on center court, and I played a couple times after that, and you know, I knew what to expect, but yeah, that was so surprising, and it was kind of a bit of a surreal moment for me, just you know, feeling like I'm doing the same walk that so many legends before me have walked. And the stadium itself is much smaller than Arthur Ashe, for example, and it feels much more intimate, especially when they have the roof closed. It feels much smaller, which I kind of like. you get in Arthur Ashe, you feel like, you're, I don't know, in the deep, dark depths of the ocean or something, in the best way, of course. So yeah, center court's it's a bit more intimate than that.
Do you prefer one or the other, Wimbledon or the U.S. Open? If you kind of had to flip a coin, where would you prefer it land on? The boisterous introductions of New York or the kind of silent, even keel of Wimbledon?
I mean, I would pick the more even keeled, quieter Wimbledon, but you really can't beat the American fans and playing in the U.S., especially in New York. So yeah, I think both have their pros and cons, but yeah, just naturally, I would say I prefer more low key environment.
Okay. Kind of keeping with that American theme, the depth of talent which you're a part of in American women's tennis is truly outstanding right now. Around this time last year, you were gearing up for the Olympics. I wonder if there are any other goals you and maybe Team USA members set as a group that are not necessarily Olympic specific, like maybe BJK Cup or United Cup, or kind of what's the vibe of Team USA right now that's not necessarily garnered towards the Olympics?
Yeah, I think it's so cool to be a part of so many amazing American players right now, and I feel like on the women's side and the men's side, the U.S. is doing so well, the best we have in whatever 20, 30 years, which I feel just really grateful to be a part of, and it's so cool to watch my fellow Americans doing so well, and cheer them on, cheering Coco on at the French Open. It was awesome, and yeah, I feel a lot of camaraderie, and I feel like all of us are very just proud and honored to be playing for the U.S. and kind of whether it's at the Olympics with the American flag on our shirt or just generally with the American flag on our name on the TV. It's a huge honor, and yeah, I feel really grateful to be a part of it. And in terms of goals specifically, I think. For the younger players, just continue developing as many as we can and get as many players as we can into the top 100 and top 50 and top 10 and kind of just keep pushing those numbers. And yeah, I think just get as many titles as we can and sort of start looking a little bit ahead to Billie Jean King Cup at the end of this year. And, we're always looking a little bit towards the Olympics, even though we have a few years ahead of us. But I think just trying to progress ourselves as individual players as much as we can, and we'll see what happens from there.
Awesome. Speaking of progression, you've done a lot of progression in the last year or so. You're a solid member of the upper rankings of the WTA Tour right now. I wonder how you compare sustaining that high level at the WTA Tour level compared to maybe when you were in juniors, because you were pretty prolific in juniors as well. What are you having to focus on to get the best out of yourself consistently compared to where you are on the WTA Tour and competing with this high-ranked players, and then being on the junior tour? How have you kind of managed progressing from one to the other?
Yeah, I think in juniors it's just kind of a maybe a watered down version of playing professional tennis. I think all of us are dedicating our lives pretty much every day to achieving our goals in the sport, and we sacrifice a lot, and we're on the road, whatever, 35 weeks out of the year, and we spend however long, 8 hours or whatever at the places we train at when we're home, putting in a ton of work and a ton of hours on the court and off the court, making sure our headspace is right and our bodies are right. And yeah, it's an all-encompassing job of it. And, in juniors, it's kind of not the same. You get some players who are just incredibly naturally talented, and they don't practice that hard, but they have the skills that they need to be good enough. And then you have other players that work really hard. Maybe they're not as talented, but you kind of have that mix of players. But there's very few players that are dedicating their entire lives to seeing how good they can be as a junior player. And then once you get to the pros, it's everyone's dedicating their lives to the sport. So I think it's maybe just more dedication on the WTA Tour.
To kind of dive deeper into that, everyone's so dedicated, and you have to be to kind of be on the circuit as much as you all do. What do you feel like your game, specifically in the last 24 months or so, has kind of been the best part in breaking into that upper echelon? What do you feel like you do on the court, whether it's like tactically or mentally, that kind of frustrates the opponents to where you sit right now in the rankings as a threat to kind of win every tournament that you're in? What is specifically makes you a tough out?
Yeah, I think over the past couple years or so, um, it's been interesting because I've had some success, but didn't feel like I knew why. And so maybe the past, year or two, I'm sort of figuring out what makes me a good player. And in the process of figuring those things out, I can more effectively use those strengths to my advantage. And yeah, it's kind of interesting having success before you realize why you're having success. And I think, just the more I play, the more I learn about myself, about other players, about what I can do to make other players uncomfortable in matches. And, I think one thing I do really well is I'm able to, when I'm playing my best, I'm able to sort of manipulate the tempo of points and the rhythm of play, and sort of make my opponent fall into the traps that I want them to fall into. And I think that's also what I enjoy the most about playing, is sort of seeing it like a chess game, and knowing, okay, this is how I want to play, this is how my opponent plays, and this is how I want to get them to play so that my things work the best against them. So, that's kind of my long story short of my game.
Okay, speaking of your game more, you've been on the winning end of a 6-0, 6-0 match, or 6-love, 6-love match just recently in Mexico with your title there. We just saw Iga winning Wimbledon in that same fashion. Walk me through what that might feel like at such an elite high level. Are there nerves to keep the scoreline on your side? Do you have any empathy to your opponent maybe? Are you feeling in the zone? I have never won a match 6-0, 6-0. So kind of walk me through how that feels at such a high level.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting place to be in, because you step out in the court and you have no idea how it's going to go, and then all of a sudden you're up whatever 6-0, 3-0, and you start seeing the finish line a little bit, like, okay, maybe I could win 0-0, and certainly a little piece of you feels a bit of empathy for your opponent, because probably in that situation your opponent's definitely not playing their best, and maybe having a tough day, so you got to think about that a little bit. But at the same time, you also kind of got to just keep your head down, and keep doing what's working, and not worry too much about the score. And for me, I'm a very process oriented player, so I could win 0-0 and not feel that good about how I'm playing. So I think the score says one thing, but it's not always the full story.
Kind of piggybacking off of that full story, Amanda Anisimova was on the other side of that 6-0, 6-0 scoreline recently. I know there's a lot of camaraderie in U.S. women's tennis. Have you had a chance to speak to her, reach out to her, and kind of tell her congratulations, and also maybe kind of console her for how things went? I'm interested in you guys' relationship and how you guys have maybe communicated after Wimbledon.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to her. I think, it was definitely a tough final, but you can't let it get lost that she made the Wimbledon final. It's an incredible achievement, and something that so many people would kill to be able to do. Obviously, not at her best in the final, and that's tough. But life goes on. Tennis is tough sometimes. You can't always come out on the winning end of it. So I'm hoping she'll keep her head down, and keep working hard, because she's doing really well.
Awesome. Another question, maybe a tangential.
One more, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, almost there. Yeah. Another question about tennis and how you manage things. How do you balance just being a normal 24-year-old on social media that kind of grew up with social apps on your phone, I'm assuming, while also being a spokesperson for a brand like Talenti, and an athlete that's open for scrutiny on some of those on those same platforms? How do you manage kind of being yourself and then also a spokesperson for brands while using social media?
Yeah, social media is very interesting for me, because I didn't really grow up with it. I don't think I had Instagram or anything until I was maybe 16 or so.
Okay.
Which now that I'm 24. I look at a 16-year-old like, wow, you're so young. But at the time, I felt like a full-grown lady at 16. And yeah, it's never been fully natural to me, to post and put my life out into the world for other people to consume. It's a little bit unnatural and it's a little bit weird, but I also, one part I do like about it is that people see me on TV playing in a very specific manner. I'm focused, I'm serious, I'm poised. But off the court, I'm pretty relaxed and easygoing, and I'll come home from a long day of practice. I'll kick my feet up. I got my flip flops on. I'll whip out a pint of maybe raspberry sorbet or mango sorbet, and put Love Island on the TV and kind of relax. So yeah, I'm definitely more relaxed, and I feel like social media is a good way to just let people in a little bit and see that side of me. And yeah, I think it's also beneficial to be able to be an inspiration to young girls that follow me and see, I guess just see the way that I go about this life, and that it's not so serious all the time, and you can still there's a life outside of tennis, and you work really hard, and then you go do fun stuff. So you can have a life of balance and hard work and fun all at the same time.
I think there's a growing amount of fans on social media that you might want to be aware of that love your ear jewelry. I've been seeing it grow, and looking at you here now, it really is beautiful and stands out. So
Thank you.
keep an eye out on those fans. They like you for that a lot.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I love the jewelry. I feel like I always stay stacked with my jewelry, and I have people come up to me all the time and tell me that they bought a bracelet or the earrings or whatever that they saw me wearing. So yeah, that's really
Awesome, great.